Party Chair, and it's an honor to be here this evening because rural Utah matters. I was speaking with several of you before the meeting began, and Wasatch County was mentioned, that it has more delegates. Yes, it does, but I also have someone representing me up there this evening. I wanted to make it down here this evening. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I moved out to Utah about 12 and a half years ago from New Jersey for a job. And I started in politics over 30 years ago in New Jersey. I directed Senator Bill Bradley's first campaign in Camden County and in Mercer County, New Jersey, two urban counties in Jersey. I was with him for 13 months as a professional organizer. Then I moved upstate New York. I helped rebuild the Orange County Democratic Party and the Monroe local Democratic Party, and I also ran for legislature for the county there. Moved out here, and I've been very active. I've been a precinct chair. I've been active on many campaigns, and most recently, I was the campaign manager for Stephen Tryon's bid to unseat Jason Chaffetz last November in the 3rd Congressional District. So my experience is vast in terms of democratic politics. But what I also bring to the table is a tremendous amount of executive level experience. For over 25 years, I have run accredited post-secondary vocational schools throughout the United States in the capacity as CEO, president, regional vice president. I understand what an organization needs to build a team. And right now, that is why I came down here, because the team in rural Utah needs leadership. Rob and I came down here tonight because we have the same idea in that respect. One of the things I am calling for from the state chair party is a 24-hour media SWAT team. And what that means, that when our lovely Republican legislature in Salt Lake or our federal representatives pass legislation or propose legislation that is not in the best interest of Utahns, within 24 hours, the chair of the party should be on every piece of social media, including YouTube, attacking the Republicans in a loving, caring manner with strong statements. Why? Because to rebuild the party throughout the state, we need to attract non-affiliated voters. Right now in the state, there are more than 560,000 non-affiliated registered voters, as compared to a little over 140,000 registered Democrats. We have to message accordingly to win elections, to get the non-affiliated voters into our fold. We cannot win elections with 30% of the vote. We have to create the motivation again, the energy. I have a fundraising plan. There's absolutely no reason why we cannot attract 7% of our Democratic Party to donate $5 a month into our coffers, and 1% of the non-affiliated voters to do the same. We will then continue to attract large donors, and in fact, they will come back to the party once they see that the energy is getting back. We need to build the field operation. I am calling for some of our smaller counties that don't have representation to have a regionalization, meaning that we'll take 3 counties and one that has a good chair, good leadership. Well, let's set the example on phoning, voter registration, and events to attract new voters. Because in some of these counties, it's only going to take 4 or 5 people to help rebuild the party. You know, we need to get 16 people up to the convention. We've got to do that. We've got to be committed to do that. We're Democrats. Rural Utah Utah matters. We cannot forget the rural fast-track grants that are key to the rural communities out here. We need to continue to advocate for those on behalf from the chair down. The party right now is fractured, and we can see that. We need to rebuild it. We need a new voice. We need new energy. Rural America and rural Utah is being affected by the opioid crisis. Why? Because we do not have the resources to attack it in the manner that's needed. Well, the chair of the party should be advocating on a continuous basis for rural Utah. As stated, Salt Lake County we don't have to worry about. They're a freestanding, very active party. But our messaging needs to be different in Salt Lake County, Utah County, and in rural Utah. We need to have real messaging that affects people to get out to vote and gets the non-affiliated voters into our party. We cannot win without the attraction of the non-affiliated voters. And that's a big push of mine if I'm elected chair, is to get the non-affiliated voters into our party through proper messaging. So please take a look at my literature, talk with me, go to my website, it's electedschwartz.com. I'm a new voice, I'm a fresh voice, I've got a lot of energy. I can bring all of our progressives in, our conservatives in, and we can have the right messaging for everyone in this party so we can once again win. We've got to get back to winning. We cannot continue to have a party that's fractured and trying to elect Democrats, because the Democrats stand for what Utah needs, and they need Democrats, and we've got to rebuild this party in the next few years. Thank you very much for your time.